If you are like me and one of your favorite foods ever are those ooey gooey cinnamon rolls that you get at the mall food court, then stay tuned because today I am showing you how to make over the most delicious cinnamon roll without any added sugar. We're gonna save over 59 grams of added sugar and make a cinnamon roll that looks and tastes just like the real thing, but that's better for blood sugar too. So stay tuned. Hey everybody, Erin here with Healthy Mom Happy Family, and today I am so excited to share with you the easiest cinnamon roll recipe ever. It is so easy you can actually make it in the microwave, but on top of that, this cinnamon roll looks and tastes just like the real thing with no added sugar. So if you love cinnamon rolls like I do, you're gonna love this recipe. And I promise you it's so simple. I have everything laid out to show you, but honestly, this recipe, you can make it in minutes, you make it in the microwave, it's super easy to make, super simple cleanup, and it really replicates those delicious cinnamon rolls you get at like the mall food court without the added sugar. You know, when I was looking at, one of my favorite foods ever are those cinnamon rolls. I used to love the whole idea of like, go to the mall and get a cinnamon roll as something as like a little treat until I looked at the nutrition information, and I was blown away. Because when you look at those mall food court cinnamon rolls, and I think you know what I'm talking about, those large cinnamon rolls have 880 calories per one cinnamon roll. It's insane. But on top of that, they have 59 grams of added sugar. That is more sugar than you would get in an entire can of soda. So when you think about it, they taste delicious, but they're gonna send blood sugar soaring. They're giving us an excessive amount of empty calories, and they taste good, but there's really not a whole lot of nutritional value to them. So I made it my mission to figure out how can I make a cinnamon roll that looks and tastes just as good, but that's better for me, that I can eat more often instead of maybe just a few times a year. And this is the recipe for you. This recipe is full of whole grains, it has protein, it has fiber, and the one thing it does not have is added sugar. This recipe has 0 grams of added sugar, and it's a cinnamon roll. So you are gonna absolutely love it, and I wanna dive in and get started to show you how simple this is. Now, one of the things I really love about this recipe is it's what we call a mug cake. And if you're not familiar with what a mug cake is, you really want to know. Because mug cakes are basically cakes you can make in the microwave. And to me, anything I can make in just a matter of seconds in the microwave in one mug is just a total game changer, because I love dessert, but I don't like making messes and I don't like cleaning them up. So this is really simple. And it's fun too because you make one serving. So you can make multiple batches, you can make multiple cinnamon rolls, you can decide how big or small you want them, but because you can make it in a mug, you honestly can make yourself one individual dessert serving and feel good about it, enjoy it. No added sugar, no mess, no cleanup, and you don't have to worry about a bunch of leftovers if you really just want the dessert now and not something that you're gonna have to eat all week long. All right, so who's ready? Are you ready to make the easiest, most delicious, sugar-free cinnamon rolls ever? I know I am, because I can't wait to make this recipe so I can eat it after. All right, so this is what you need. All right, we're gonna grab our ingredients. Now, we're gonna make the dough, and then we're gonna make the frosting, because what's a cinnamon roll without frosting, right? That's pretty much the only reason I eat them. It's like a vehicle to get the frosting into my mouth. So I will definitely make sure I show you how to make the frosting too. So to make the cinnamon roll dough, now there's a lot of things you could do. You can make a whole grain cinnamon roll in the oven if you wanted to, but because I want to keep this as simple as possible and make this a mug cake, I'm going to show you how you can make this whole grain sugar-free dough in the microwave. So we're going to use a 1/3 cup of Greek yogurt. We're going to use a ripe banana that we are going to mash. So you want it, you know, when they get like brown and you don't necessarily want to eat it because it's getting a little mushy, this is what you want to use. You want those sweet, slightly over-ripened bananas for this recipe. We're gonna use oat flour, and I'm gonna link to the recipe below so you can click on it, you can print it, you can use it again and again, and you'll see the nutrition breakdown as well too. And then there are 2 tablespoons of rolled oats, so just your regular rolled oats, oops, dropped some, but just your regular rolled oats, we're gonna put that in there too. And then, of course, a pinch of cinnamon, and this is for the dough, and a little bit of baking powder, and a pinch of salt. So that's all we need to make the dough part. Then we're gonna make the filling, and then we're gonna make the frosting. And you're gonna see how easy this is. So all you need is a bowl. Now, you could use a food processor, you could use a high-power blender, whatever you wanna do, but honestly, a bowl and a fork to mash the banana is really all you need. So I like to put my wet ingredients in first. So I am going to add in the Greek yogurt. Oh, there's something in my bowl there, okay. So we're gonna put the Greek yogurt in, okay? And now, here's the thing with the Greek yogurt. You can use plain Greek yogurt. I love to use plain Greek yogurt in cooking because it's a really great way to replicate the need for additional butters and things like that. So there's a lot you can do with Greek yogurt. If you want in this recipe to use plain Greek yogurt, I would suggest for the dough, you can do an extra pinch of cinnamon, or if you want to sweeten it up a bit, you could put a no-calorie sweetener like stevia, monk fruit, any of those. If you're using an already sweetened Greek yogurt, like vanilla Greek yogurt, you really don't need to add that. So it's your call, your preference, but if you are using plain Greek yogurt, if you want to add in a little bit more in the hint of, say, a hint of vanilla or a hint of a no-calorie sweetener, you can absolutely do that. So now this recipe calls for about 1/4 cup of mashed banana. So if you have a large banana like this, it's half a banana, we're gonna throw it in and we're gonna mash it with a fork, okay? So we're just mashing it up in the bowl here with a fork. So easy to do. I'm gonna show you because I know it can look a little like, at first, but I promise you the more you mash, the easier it gets, okay? So mash it up. All right, and again, like I said, you can use a food processor or a blender if you want to do this a little bit quicker. I like to use the one bowl method just because there's less to clean up, but totally your call. All right, and I wanted to show you how you can make this recipe even if you don't have any equipment in your kitchen. All right, so we have that nice and mashed up now, nice and mashed. We are going to add in the flour. So here we have 1/4 cup of oat flour. Now you can use whole wheat flour. I like to use oat flour when it's gluten-free, so if you need to avoid gluten, you have that. But oat flour just has a nice soft texture, it has a little bit of a sweet taste to it, so I prefer that for this recipe. Okay, so we're gonna dump that in. And then the rolled oats, this is 2 tablespoons of rolled oats. This just gives a little bit of added texture to the recipe, okay? So we mix that in with our Greek yogurt banana mash. I'm just gonna mix it here. And we start to form our dough. Now as I'm mixing, I'm also gonna add in my pinch of cinnamon, sprinkle that around. Little bit of baking powder right there so it rises, and just a pinch of salt. So mixing that. Okay, so I am gonna hold this up so you can see this dough now. Okay, so you can see it's all mashed up, it gives a really nice dough. All right, so all we have to do now is put this in a mug in the microwave for 90 seconds. But first, we want to make it like those ooey gooey cinnamon rolls, right? So it has to have a filling. Now your traditional cinnamon roll usually has a filling with brown sugar and cinnamon, which adds a large amount of added sugar, which we're trying to avoid. So what I recommend is using pureed dates. If you have not used dates yet, dates are this delicious fruit that have this really nice caramel flavor to them, but they're fruit, right? So there's no added sugar. It's all naturally occurring sugar. They have fiber, they have nutrients. So it makes a really great swap for brown sugar. Now you can get dates, you can soak them in a little bit of water and pulse them up in a food processor to puree them. Or what I like is kind of like a hack, is I like to keep a jar of pureed dates. They do sell pureed dates now, like a date spread. Just make sure if you're buying a date spread, the ingredient is just the dates. You don't want things with added sugar because that's really the whole reason why you're using the spread is to cut down on the added sugar. So it should have one ingredient, which is dates. And I like this because it's done for me, right? I don't have to soak the dates and puree them. It just saves a little bit of time. But you can do that, okay? So you don't have to find a date spread. If you don't have one by you, you can absolutely puree the dates too. If you're using regular dates in this recipe, all you would do is take one large date and blend that up, and that's what you would use for the filling in one cinnamon roll. Or I use, and it's really your preference, but I typically use just about a tablespoon of the pureed dates here, mix it with a little cinnamon, and put that in as my filling. So this is what we're gonna do. We are gonna take a large mug, and you spray it with a little bit of non-stick cooking spray so it doesn't stick. We are gonna take 1/2 of the dough and put it at the bottom. So I'm just gonna put that in there and kind of flatten it out. Show you here. All right, so now roughly 1/2 of the recipe. We're gonna put that at the bottom of the mug. Because now what we wanna do on top of it is we wanna put the date filling. Because then we're gonna put the rest of the dough on top. It's gonna bake up so you have that really nice cinnamon swirl inside of it when it comes out. All right, so here's our date spread. I'm just gonna show you how delicious that looks inside. So I just put in the middle, I put a little bit of cinnamon. Can't really have too much cinnamon, as much as you want really, a pinch is fine. And then we're just gonna put in a little bit of the date spread. So I'm just gonna grab a spoon right here, spoon it out, and then I just put it on top and just basically spread it a bit. And if it helps, You could always heat this a little bit before so it's easier to spread, but honestly, as you're baking it, it's gonna spread too. All right, so I'm just gonna show you, grab a towel, I'm gonna show you what that looks like. Okay, so you're just putting in the middle the dates and the cinnamon. Now, all we need to do is put the rest of our dough on top. So we have a filling. So scoop that in here. Okay, and then I just use my fork to kind of flatten it out so it's covering it. I'm gonna show you what that looks like in 1 second. Okay, here we go. See, that's it. That's how easy it is. Now, all you have to do is put this in your microwave for 90 seconds. You're gonna have this delicious cinnamon roll ready to go, but what's a cinnamon roll without frosting, right? It's not worth it. You need the frosting. So as this goes in the microwave for 90 seconds, we are gonna make the frosting, and I'm gonna show you how easy that is to do. All right, so I'm just gonna move this over here, pop this in the microwave, and I will be right back. Okay, so as our cinnamon roll is heating up in the microwave, I wanna show you how quick and easy it is to make a sugar-free cream cheese frosting for your cinnamon roll. So you really need 2 ingredients. We need Greek yogurt, plain Greek yogurt, and we need some cream cheese, okay? You could do low-fat, regular cream cheese, up to you what you wanna use. All we're gonna do is mix together the cream cheese with the Greek yogurt to give us a nice, soft, delicious kind of creamy spread that we can use as a frosting substitute. Now, when we're doing this, again, you have a couple options. Instead of plain Greek yogurt, you could use a vanilla Greek yogurt and mix it together so it's already sweetened, and that'll give more of a frosting taste. I hear a cinnamon roll is ready. I'll get it in a second. All right, so we could either use a flavored Greek yogurt to enhance the frosting, or you can use your favorite low or no calorie sweetener. So what I tend to do is use the plain Greek yogurt, the cream cheese, and then I put in a hint of either stevia or monk fruit, really whatever I have on hand, and that sweetens it up too without the added sugar. So really your choice there. Okay, now I'm gonna show you, I'm gonna use a fork here. Typically I will warm this up a bit just so the cream cheese is a little softer. I was using the microwave already for the cinnamon roll, so I had to wait on that. But usually this, I would just make it a little bit softer so it blends easier. And again, you can use a blender or food processor to do this, but simply a bowl works too if you want to cut down on time. So I'm just gonna put it in with the Greek yogurt. And I always use a fork to mash because it just lets me smash and mix a little bit easier than a spoon. Just my preference, but you can do whatever works for you. So I'm just gonna smush that in there. And because cream cheese is so soft and so is the Greek yogurt, it mixes really, really well together. All right, you're gonna see here, blending that really easily. See that there? All right, so nice. Now for this one right here, I actually had a vanilla Greek yogurt. So I'm just gonna use that. I'm not putting the added sweetener or sugar in right now, but that's what I had in the house. If I was using the plain Greek yogurt, which many times I do, then I would just add a hint of sweetness with the sweetener of my choice. All right, so we have our frosting ready to go. All right, I'm gonna grab the cinnamon roll and I'm gonna show you how great this looks. Okay, you ready? I'll be right back. Okay, so our cinnamon roll is out of the microwave. It's warm, okay, but I'm gonna show you how great it looks. So here is your delicious cinnamon roll. So easy. We're just gonna flip the mug over, put it on a plate, and then we're gonna frost it and enjoy it. Are you ready? I can't wait. Okay, so when your cinnamon roll comes out of the microwave, it is a little hot, so just be careful. You could use pot holders if you need to. I usually just touch the top and not the bottom where it's a little warmer. And then you just flip it over, you can tap it, and it comes right out. Here it goes. Ah, there it goes. Now you'll see when it first comes out, it doesn't look as much like a cinnamon roll because it's upside down. So you simply just flip it over. You can use your hands, you can use a fork or a knife. I'm just gonna use my hand right here. Flip it over there because I'm gonna eat this one. So I'm gonna show you now how your cinnamon roll looks. So you can see there's kind of that inner swirl that you can kind of visualize here with the dates and the cinnamon inside. And now we are gonna take our frosting and we're just gonna take it. And I like to do this when the cinnamon roll is warm because it really melts and spreads so nice. Can you see that there? I'm just gonna put the cinnamon. Now, if you wanna get real crazy, sometimes what I do is I add even just a little bit of the date spread on top and a little bit of cinnamon too. And you can see how easy that spreads. Put a little more frosting here because you can never have too much frosting, right? All right, in my world, you can never have too much frosting. All right, what is a world without frosting, right? Okay, so now it is frosted. It looks delicious. I'm trying very hard not to eat it on you while I show you. And I just want to show you, I'm going to cut into it so you can see what the inside looks like too. I'm just going to cut it still a little warm here. Oh wow, that looks so good. Can't wait to eat it. Okay, so I'm going to hold this up so you can see here on the camera too. You can see that there. So can you see the inside there? You see all that date filling? It is so delicious. This frosting is really good too. All right, so that is how easy it is to make this no sugar added cinnamon roll in the microwave. Now, serving those, let's talk about what goes in it, nutrition content. Okay, like I said, I'm linking to the recipe below. You can click on it, you can print it, you can see all the nutrition facts. But this recipe per serving, 172 calories. Remember, I told you those food court cinnamon rolls, 880 calories. Now this recipe has zero grams of added sugar. It does have some carbohydrate because again, we're putting in the oats and the banana, but it's only got 25 grams of carbohydrate. That actually saves you 100 grams of carbohydrate when compared to those traditional big cinnamon rolls you'd find like at the mall. Huge savings. And this has 11 grams of protein. Okay, so it's really gonna be more filling and hold you over longer because the big source of protein in here is the Greek yogurt. And that's gonna give you all that sweetness and everything that you're enjoying in the cinnamon roll, but it actually keeps you full longer and it helps to stabilize blood sugar too. So I'm just gonna grab something for you to show you real quick. So this is one of the cinnamon rolls I made off camera. So I had a little more time to make it and show you. But that's how great it looks when it comes out and you let it cool down a little bit. So whether you want the frosting kind of melted right here and divided it, or right here when it cools a bit. These are so great, so easy. Pop it in the microwave, make it for breakfast. And because it has the whole grains, it has the protein, it has the fiber, this is really something you could eat more as a meal and not as an indulgent treat that you can only have once in a while, like your traditional cinnamon rolls. So nothing wrong with having a cinnamon roll once in a while, but if you want to have it more often, this no sugar cinnamon roll recipe is really the best choice. All right, so let me know what you think. Comment below and let me know if you've tried this recipe and what you think. If you are excited about the recipe, I'd love to know that too, or any new recipes you would like to see where we can reduce the added sugar and the carbohydrate. Like I mentioned, the link is below to the full recipe so you can grab it. And if you like today's recipe, you like today's video, I would love for you to subscribe so you never miss new tips and tricks and new recipes. Thanks so much for joining me.